One man walked the streets of Athens, questioning everything and challenging everyone to think. No books, no script, only the power of thought and dialogue. His ideas moved like the wind through Athens, stirring the city. Fear followed his influence, spreading through the halls of power. He faced death for standing by his beliefs, refusing to abandon the truth he had spent his life seeking. This is Socrates, a man whose ideas still challenge the world.
Socrates, known in Greek as Socrates, was born between 470 and 468 BC in the deme of Alopes, a modest suburb southeast of the walls of Athens. His father, Socrates, is described in ancient sources as a stonemason or sculptor, while his mother, Phanerit, was a Maya or midwife. Socrates' upbringing likely included instruction, typical for a middle to upper status Athenian boy, combining literacy, music, poetry, and physical training, although no direct records survive. Later associations with wealthy and influential Athenians imply that his family enjoyed some degree of local prestige, enabling him to access Athens' civic and intellectual spheres. Socrates left no writings, so modern understanding relies entirely on indirect testimony, primarily from Plato and Xenophon, his students and close associates. Both documented his life and teachings within decades of his death, while public memory remained vivid. These accounts are considered more reliable than later writers such as Aristotle, Diogenes, Laertes, or Plutarch, who wrote many decades or centuries afterward. Still, Plato and Xenophon must be read critically, as both admired Socrates and may have shaped his portrayal to serve philosophical or literary purposes. In the ancient world, attributing ideas to revered figures was common, as homage rather than deceit. Alopse was a moderately sized deme, home to several thousand residents, though exact population figures are unknown. Only freeborn Athenian men held citizenship. The remainder included women, children, slaves, and resident foreigners. Socrates' citizenship hints his father was a citizen. Safraniscu's work as a stonemason or sculptor likely granted him local recognition and connections with prominent Athenians, such as Lysimachus, son of Aristides, the Just. Phanerit's role as a Maya suggests professional respectability, and some midwives had medical training. Socrates' education likely included basic literacy, music under Lampros and Kanos, physical training, poetry memorization, and apprenticeship in his father's trade. As Athenian law required fathers to secure a livelihood for their sons, adolescence brought Socrates into Athens' civic and military life. He witnessed the transfer of the Delian League's treasury to Athens under Pericles, a period of wealth that funded massive building projects benefiting skilled craftsmen. At 18, he attained full citizenship and became eligible for military service. Socrates participated in campaigns at Patadia, Dilium, and Amphipolis, displaying remarkable resilience, discipline, and courage. Plato and Xenophon recount that at Patadia, he rescued the wounded Alcibiades. He refused credit and gave it to a younger soldier, showing bravery and moral modesty. Physically, Socrates is described as short, stocky, balding, and snub-nosed. Sustained training in youth likely developed a compact, muscular build. These traits, combined with his resilience in military campaigns, made him notable among his peers. His personal life was modest and largely private. Socrates married Xantippe, with whom he had 3 sons, including Lamprechles. Later traditions suggest associations with women such as Myrto, and more speculatively, Diotima of Plato's Symposium, who may reflect the figure of Aspasia, of Miletus, though evidence is thin. Socrates never accepted payment for teaching, living simply and sustained perhaps only by military pay and modest means. His philosophical life was spent in public spaces, such as the Agora, and in private symposia, engaging fellow Athenians through the dialectical method later named after him. He explored ethics, virtue, knowledge, justice, and the soul, revealing contradictions without offering final answers. Plato's Apology recounts the Delphic oracle declaring that no one was wiser than Socrates. He interpreted this as the paradoxical recognition that true wisdom lay in knowing one's own ignorance. Despite admiration, Socrates faced caricature and public suspicion. In the Clouds, Aristophanes mocked him as a ridiculous sophist, fueling public distrust. Resentment grew, as some pupils, like Alcibiades and the 30 Tyrants, caused political and military failures. Socrates, however, refused to participate in injustices under the oligarchy, including a notable refusal to arrest Leon of Salamis, demonstrating civic integrity and moral courage. In 399 BC, Socrates was charged with impiety and corrupting the youth by Meletus, Anytus, and Lycon. At trial, he rejected standard penalties, proposing public maintenance or a fine his friends would pay. The jury found him guilty by a narrow margin and sentenced him to death. Execution was delayed for religious reasons. During this time, Socrates refused to escape, saying breaking the law would corrupt his soul. On his final day, he discussed death and immortality with his friends before drinking hemlock, leaving final words that remain debated, including a reference to a debt owed to Asclepius. Socrates' influence on Western thought is immense, despite his lack of writings. His teaching influenced Plato and Aristotle and helped shape scientific methods based on reason and evidence. Later philosophers saw him as recognizing a moral authority beyond law or force, though he never formalized it. The historical Socrates remains elusive, but his life embodies relentless inquiry, ethical reflection, and awareness of human ignorance. Even unresolved questions, he maintained, are worth pursuing, embodying the principles he sought to teach. His life intertwines civic engagement, military service, family, philosophical innovation, public suspicion, and moral courage. From humble origins, he challenged Athens' culture, politics, and ideas across generations. Every campaign, dialogue, and trial contributes to the mosaic of a man whose personal modesty, philosophical rigor, created a legacy that continues to inspire, provoke, and illuminate the pursuit of truth. His upbringing, work, and social environment provide context for his methods, yet his influence extends far beyond Athens. By championing, questioning, ethics, and reason, Socrates laid the foundation for Western philosophy, science, and morality. His example shows intellectual courage and integrity can endure despite misunderstanding or resistance. Socrates' philosophical approach emphasized that understanding the self is paramount, that virtue is a form of knowledge, and that moral responsibility transcends social or political pressure. His Socratic method, rooted in dialogue and relentless questioning, remains central to modern pedagogy, ethics, and jurisprudence. Societal engagement, illustrating the profound challenges and responsibilities inherent in the life of the thinker. His bravery, humility, dedication to inquiry, and commitment to principle form a human and heroic story. He engaged citizens not with authority, but with dialogue, not with decree, but with reason, not with fear, but with moral clarity. Through these traits, Socrates made Athens a hub of thought, leaving a legacy beyond his death. Socrates' legacy is marked by tension, admired yet caricatured, respected yet condemned, embodying the philosopher's societal paradox. His refusal to escape death shows philosophy lived as ethics in action, not just theory. This integration of thought and life forms the cornerstone of his historical and intellectual significance. Even centuries later, the figure of Socrates continues to challenge assumptions, provoke inquiry, and inspire reflection. An ethical engagement without writings can still influence generations and shape human thought. Drop a like, share, and subscribe for more sharp stories about power, knowledge, and destiny. Thank you for watching.